Hello, my loves. Welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenore, and today I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. These are transmissions from the borderlands. We are somewhere in between. Somewhere on the edge of anything that makes sense. So let's go ahead. We're going to get started. Let's take a look at those tea leaves. What are they going to tell us? I hope that you are well. I hope that you are safe and cozy, or at least having a wonderful day, getting that work in, getting those steps in, hopefully breathing fresh air, able to eat, get your sleep. All right, we have quite a scene here. We have what looks like the dragon right here. Here would be the head, and this is the body, and the tail down here. Now, we have a person, or it looks maybe even like a small dragon next to it, maybe baby dragon. We have down through here landscape, maybe a mushroom right here. We have the king. He looks very much, look at this dude. He head right here looking out this way, a little robe. Down here would be the feet. Okay, he's like feeding a bird. A bird's coming out, eating from him. There's some dude over here, maybe his like guard or whatever. He looks like the Burger King. I don't know why. That's what I saw. Maybe I'm hungry. I don't know if I could handle no BK, but we'll see. Now up here, we have a person standing on, like a person with a backpack on top of a hill. Here we have, and we have two people coupling. That's all I'm going to say right here. Okay. Now it's interesting because then behind there's almost like a bird flying out. So seems like two people coming together to create something, a third being, entity, thought form, idea, concept. A creative partner, a magical partner. This is the unificato, right? The merging of the sun and the moon, and there the star is born. Now we also have kind of in the shape of what I would think would be like a mourning dove, a collared dove, or pigeon, collared pigeon, I think, or is it collared dove? I don't know. Anyways, those pigeon dove guys, right? So we have a sense of peace, okay? In this work together, you will find some peace. And I think it really is about the act of sublimation, less about the act of combination or recombination. That is the sun and the moon, the two aspects of self, the two people coming together to do a project together, to create life together, whatever. It's less about that part. I mean, that part's good, right? But it's less about that part. It's so much about releasing whatever it is, right? Whatever that bird stands for, that peace that you are regaining, that sense of frenzy leaving you, the sense of the unknown, feeling trapped, stuck, uninspired, whatever it is, judged. Right? Have you ever done a project with somebody that wasn't like for work? I mean, even if it is for work, but if you like, say, got into a hobby and you met like a group of people who also do the hobby, and you go with your own motivation to find somebody to work on a project with the two of you. Okay. And I know that's kind of a weird example, but I feel that there's a difference when you're in a situation where, like, you're at work, you're at school, you're put in a group, you're put on a team, and that's how you work together, right? Versus doing something that you love intentionally and seeking out somebody to do that work with you. It's very intimate. Now, I don't necessarily mean that it is romantic. Do not mess those two things up. Creating with somebody does not have to be romantic. It is something beautiful, no doubt. It is a connection that, well, of course, you can't deny that making something with somebody, spending the time to do the process and then the manifestation, there's something beloved there, something sacred there. Okay. So we have that energy. I mean, that's the now energy. Now, the person on top of the mountain there, that tells me that you are meeting a goal. So through this work, through this release of whatever it is that you have been kind of processing through, I feel that you are just in this mindset. It's clear. It's clear. There is a defined want, goal, desire, need, and you are meeting it with a good plan, right? And that's important. Now, I think that you are on the journey of execution, of course, right? You're like in the thing. This is happening. It's not happened, but it is happening. So we go down here. We have the dragon. We have the king. We have the king feeding the bird. To me, this is very much about the king, the emperor, being a person who has spent their whole life preparing for their position. They have lived a cloistered life almost, where they are kind of sent away to live in a place that has teachers. They have, people that guide them. They have mentors. They have, I don't know exactly. I mean, the systems are different. But there is a process of initiation and learning, right? And that is usually done away from culture, away from society, okay? And this is because not only to protect the emperor or the king when they are, young, but it is to allow for them to have a very narrow world view as they're building the foundation of their personality, their archetype as a ruler, as a leader, as somebody in charge, and so there is a sense of a profound and total education here, okay? Whatever the life is that you have lived, now I don't necessarily mean that you're living it now, but however you were brought up, whatever the environment was, however you did the thing, maybe you did go to school and you did go to college and you did end up, going to graduate school and all the things, right? Masters, doctors, whatever. Maybe you grew up in the streets. You know what I mean? Maybe you're just out here, you really know how to run your life. Make the moves, It doesn't matter what it's applied to. Maybe you're you've always wanted to be married and raising a family, and you've spent your life preparing for that. I mean, that you are locked in this realm, okay? Feeding the bird. Okay, that tells me that you are going through a bit of maybe a crisis of identity. And that makes sense, right? We're going through collectively this huge, huge change, right? The world doesn't feel like it did 20 years ago. It just doesn't. Things are chaotic. They don't make sense. There's a lot of absurdity, a lot of unknown, a lot of fear, a lot of division. Quite literally, WAR. Pick your one, choose. And I think that you're in a place where you're trying to figure out, like, what does this all mean? You're not just like going to keep your head down and keep doing what you've been doing for the last 10 years. I think a lot of us would love that. I know I would. If I could just stay the course and like just pretend nothing's really going on, that I can't feel the weight on my chest, that would be most excellent. I wish, man. I wish. But listen, not very many people are being, they're just not able. They're just not able. And I don't blame anybody who has found themselves like really questioning how they've been living, how they have chosen to spend their days, who they have chosen to spend them with. I know for me, I have gotten to a point where I am just unwilling to put up with a lot. Like very few things. I don't like the back and forth. I don't want to argue with anybody except for my daughter because she is so intelligent. She just really cannot stand to not be able to say her piece, and I'm glad. But man, she's the only one that I have any energy to be arguing with. And it just, I'm not. If you don't want to be in my life, don't be in my life. If you're going to be in my life, you want to be in my life, we better honor one another. When I met my husband, I told him, I said, I want to be worshipped. Yeah, absolutely. And every day of my life, I will worship you, and he was like, well, I don't know what that means exactly, worshiping another person or whatever. He's a very like, I don't know. I think it embarrasses him to have too much attention, right? And like really direct love. Like real honest, not the like, well, like all the comments and emails you get on the internets, right? All that kind of stuff, or even, just people put it like everything like that feels like, I don't know. If you haven't been creating, I don't think that you realize, like, on the other end, a lot of times it just feels like you're a scam. Like, you know what I mean? Like you're a scammer or something. I don't know, or something. I don't know. Not here, though, right? I like that. I like that the channel is kind of failing because the people who are here are just real. I just feel like you guys are just kind of, and yeah, I really appreciate a lot of the love and stuff. But like where you are just expressing, your own thing, your own story, your own feelings about something, whatever. I love that. But yeah, I think, like with my husband, like I'm not going to tell his secrets, or not secrets, but his story, it's not my place. But so when we, first started this work together, like as a family, as two individuals, uniting, unifying, and then the business and everything else, right? We are tightly woven in a lot of areas. For me, it comes easily. to surrender myself to the belovedness of something. But it's not always the case for people, you know. It's not always the case. And I don't know. I forget where I was going with all of that. But it feels like, I feel like there's just this feeling of, it's like you're so tired of all of the like pomp and circumstance, all of the social conditioning, the social mores, the manners, how we do things. Right? Now, I don't mean just go buck wild. You're just, I reject all of that. Now I'm going to, scream at people and cause havoc and, whatever. I mean, listen, it's happening constantly. There are endless videos of these kinds of behaviors in public, right? I don't think it's like that, but I think it's like you are going through this place where you are reforming yourself. You're just not putting up with a lot. It's simple at this point. You either belong in my life, and, I'm not saying we have to worship each other, right? But kind of. There needs to be a sacred honor between people. Now, there are times when it's lost and we keep these people in our lives, or we start to see somebody as they grow or as they reveal themselves, and it's not what you thought it was, or they're, whatever. And this is the time, I think, where it's hard to put up with anything. And it's not even necessarily like any profoundly bad thing. Like you found out, oh, this person's like a Ted Bundy or something, But it's like, it's just too much energy expended, and it just does not add the right note to the soup, right? If your life is your soup and this person's in there and it just it doesn't taste good together. It doesn't belong in there. Get the strainer, because that thing is going to sour everything. You know what I mean? Like, get it out of there. So yeah, I think you're at this point where it's like, and I'm not saying with people necessarily, it could be your job, it could be where you live, it could be your friends, how you dress. Like, I just, I don't know. I decided I'm never wearing jeans again. I don't like them. They're uncomfortable. And why shouldn't I wear leggings constantly every day for the rest of my life, Yeah, and sometimes we just, we make these kinds of decisions. It could be that you are really just, you're at that place. I'm not going to live in this discomfort anymore. So then we have the dragon. Now, the dragon really is such a beautiful symbol of passion, of loyalty, protection, but it also is it's the keeper of the fires. Not exactly the salamander, right? But it's still in the same kind of line of thinking. And so this is like when the machine really gets to start going, right? Like you got it all together. Everything's oiled and assembled right. And you read the thing. And now you're turning it on. Right? And that's the dragon. Getting the mechanisms moving. And I think that's really like where you're at. You're starting to really see a correlation between your intentional decision making, your intentional techniques and practices, and orienting your life and your place within your life intentionally, right? And everything's starting to react to you. You're starting to feel it like, ooh, what's this? You know, like kind of, and you can feel that kind of synergy happening, right? And I think that that's exactly where we are with that. Now, we also have, it looks like the name Jill, possibly John. John or Jill. Something like this. So we have the camel. There's a need to really prepare for... It feels like a dry spell of something. We also have the number 727, which is funny because I was just talking about 272 earlier this morning. That's so wild. 727. All right, then. Get at me. We are crumping it up. Okay, we have the number 6. We have a person, visions. That's where it's at. Okay, so we have the wizard right here. You can see with his hat and his arm out. We also have a person sitting here here's the head, here's the body, in some kind of meditation. Okay, so we also have the snail. There is a sense of receiving some kind of channeling in your active imagination, meditation. Maybe you have like really profound visions, dreams. This is going to be important for you. Whatever this message is going to be. There is a sense we have a vulture. We have a person that looks like they're like kind of swimming and asking for help. There is a sense of urgency. Okay, so do not ignore this message that it's going to find you, and you're going to experience, and you're going to think this is weird. That's really, a lot. It's like when you wake up from your dream, but you feel like you're still dreaming. It's still like it flavors your reality, right? This is the kind of energy. Okay, so don't ignore it. Do not ignore it. It's going to be important. Take heed. I'm not saying you have to do exactly or it's a real situation. Of course, these are allegories. These are ordeals that we are working out in our other place. But when they come through, we have to heed them, right? You have to decode it. There's no other way. If you ignore it, that's on you, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody can help you from that if you're just going to ignore the visions. Okay, 90. 79. 90, 79, and 45. All right, babes. I love you. I love you. I love you. Thank you for being here with me. It is always... it's a pleasure. Definitely. I love feeling your energy. I wish I always had better news, but the world is a dumpster on fire at this point. So hopefully anything is better news than that. So I love you. We'll talk soon. Take care of yourself. Good night.